Hello, everyone, and welcome back to an amazing episode of the You're Not Done Yet podcast, where your purpose is just moments away, and I'm here to help you get there. Y'all, we are back with a new series, and this series is titled Women on the Way Up. And as you can see, we have an amazing young woman on the screen with us. If she could introduce herself, we'll get right into the episode.
Hello, everyone. I am Amoni Perryman. I am a 2021 graduate of Florida A&M Business Administration, focusing on accounting and marketing. And I'm just on my way up. So I'm happy to be here today.
Yes, no, we appreciate it so much. So, for you guys who don't know, I'm Amani. Like she said, she's a FAMU graduate. And a couple months ago, she held an event, and you guys, the event was amazing. Amazing. I had a chance to speak. So, Amani, if you could give us a little background about all things professional, how did you get started, and then we'll hop right into some more.
So All Things Professional, it's a play off of my initials, ATP. And
Yes.
I just kind of wanted to start a business where I could utilize my professional skills. And before it was more mentoring, and I wanted to actually start providing services to businesses and providing marketing and provide any type of initiatives that they needed to get started on. I just wanted to be that kind of source for people. And it kind of started actually with first class marketing.
Okay.
That is one of the businesses I partnered with. So
Yes.
we just kind of ended up everyone finding their niche in the world of business.
I love that. And you're just figuring out. So, but what was that first initial thought when you were trying to, I guess, find your lane or figure out what lane you want to go into? Because I feel like women are like very multifaceted, right? And so it's like we're trying to figure out, okay, do I stick with this one thing? Do I try to do like three or four things at the same time? But what was that thought that made you want to decide on that one particular thing or that specific niche of your professional skills?
um Mainly, I just wanted to see what I could actually provide continuously. So I
Yeah.
know social media management, like providing content calendars to people and strategies, is what I learned I was really good at. I just kind of had to go through each step. Like, I
Yeah.
had to go through managing that social media platform and, like, okay, I'm not much content creator, but I am great at giving someone an algorithm to maintain. And
Yeah.
so just having to go through each step of the business pretty much.
Yeah. So you're more of like a behind the scenes type of person.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a good thing to recognize too, because like not everyone wants to be on the forefront. It's like
Mhm.
I can make sure that whoever gets on camera, like it looks amazing. Like you won't even be able to tell what we went through before we got on the camera, right? But it looks so amazing. And then you also have another business, Bossy Co. If you don't mind speaking some more about that.
So that's where we all started. It was lashes, glasses, and self care products. So
Yes.
I just really, I always wore lashes and glasses. And when people started buying them off of me, I was able to start the business and start buying them in more frequent orders. And from there, I built a small clientele and we just keep maintaining every day.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I would say too, just being an entrepreneur, it's very important to have a sense of community. And how important is having a sense of community to you, like in your line of work? How important is that?
Very much so because, you can't really thrive without people. That's really an issue here.
Yeah.
And so, especially in Tallahassee, you have to kind of really build a community in
Yeah.
order to be able to disperse your services and grow your businesses. So it's been very important. That's where Meet the Connect came. I wanted to start building a community
Right.
even larger than my behind the scenes can
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, no, and I mean, because community is important, and like you said, and being from Tallahassee, it's knowing that like you just have to have a base, like a base of people, or even just people that you can call on. I think is always an important thing, especially like when you're throwing an event, because it's so many like little pieces that go into putting like the overarching thing together. But because you have community, you know, like, okay, I could call on this person, I can call on that person, and it may not be perfect, but we gonna work through it, we gonna get through it. And as far as like getting through things, like how do you overcome your fear and your doubt, especially when taking on a new project, maybe planning a new event? How do you overcome fear and doubt?
Just keep going. God will never take you on a path that you can't handle.
No, not at
You
all.
keep on chugging. I just feel like something's going to be at the end of there.
Yeah. And then the thing is too, because it's not it happened overnight. It's not
Hmm.
that. It's how do you stay consistent day in and day out? How do you keep pushing day in and day out? Because I'm not gonna lie, and I'm pretty sure you feel the same way too. It's some days where you're just like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah. It,
I, I committed to it, but do I really, 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 really want to do it? Like, God, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Like, are you sure this is what I'm supposed Okay, I'm gonna listen to you. And then another thing that I want to touch on too is just all about purpose. You know, that's what the You're Not Done Yet podcast is about. So, when did you realize that you are walking in your God given purpose?
when I felt like my inner child was being healed, like when I felt
Mm,
like my original passions and goals were being fulfilled in my today's age. So I was big in
yeah,
sports. I was big into business as a kid, even just selling waters and drinks on the corner. Like I just
yeah.
always liked the customer service aspect. So being able to fulfill that little girl's dreams is when I
It's
know that I'm on the right path.
Yeah, and I think too, I also feel like purpose is trial and error too.
Hmm.
It's like it's never gonna be perfect the first time around, but it's like, okay, even if A didn't work out, doesn't mean that B and C isn't gonna work out either. And I like the fact that you said that your inner child is like being healed, right? Because I feel like that's what happens. Like when you're pursuing your purpose, is like that person that maybe you needed when you were younger. You're becoming that version of yourself. Like you're becoming that version of Amani that you needed maybe when you were like 7 or 8 years old. But knowing that now, like I'm old enough to yeah, right. Like you're old enough to pursue those things, and then you're old enough to do trial and error. And I would say too, like, what advice would you give someone who's afraid to take that next step? Like, who's afraid to make that commitment to walk in their purpose?
That trial and error, you get a lot of learning experience from. So it's never like you weren't supposed to be there. You weren't supposed to go through that. Like
Yeah.
there's always something to learn from. There's always something to grow and develop from. So don't look at those hard days as, oh, this is why, Lord. No, no, no. Like he's
Yeah.
trying to harden you up a little bit for
Yeah.
certain occasions.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think like that, and that's the lane that we don't try to go down. Like
Yeah.
we don't try to go down the lane where God has to like prune us and like shape us and mold us a little bit. But I feel like that's where you learn the most. Like you said, like that's where you learn the most, because if he's not hard on you, then what are you learning? Like if he's not pushing you like out of your uncomfortable, what are you learning? And so my next question is, have you ever, and I'm pretty sure you're going through that right now, but a time where you were uncomfortable, and how did you work through it? Like God, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know about this. I don't know about this, God, but I'm uncomfortable. But I don't know about this.
um, I would say in moments that I feel uncomfortable, I kind of just take a breath. So
Yeah.
like even in when you feel like you're not supposed to be in the room or you're either ahead or behind your time, like the scripture that I hold close is First Timothy 4:12. So like, don't let anyone look down upon you because you're young. We're all young coming up, and there's a
Hello.
whole generation ahead of us that's already lived it. So
Right.
we just have to live in purity and love and in faith and keep going. Like that's really the
Yeah.
thing that keeps me chugging.
Yeah. And then I think too, and test to that is like, don't be afraid to learn from the people who came before you.
Right.
Right? Because they've been there. They've been our age before, right? They know what we're possibly going through and how they could help. And I think in today's generations, like I don't want to say we're afraid to ask for help, but it's like not the first thing that comes to mind. It's like we want to be independent and figure it out. But God is like, but I've given you three, four, five, six, seven, eight people that can help you, but you want to do it on your own. You want
Yeah.
to you want to sit there and just be like, okay, God, I'll struggle a little bit, but I gave you the key to what you need. And I feel like that's important though, because you have to remember that you're not gonna have it all together, regardless of what you see on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Like, your race is your race, right? And no one can run your race except for you. So, and you have to understand that your timing is your timing.
Yeah.
Like, that's
And sometimes their timing is not your timing. So you just have to watch and learn from that. Like you sometimes
yeah.
you don't need to try to insert yourself either. Like sometimes it's like you have to
No.
wait. Like just wait, sit and watch. Like that's pretty much.
Yeah. And then but because the thing is like there's I'm learning and you're waiting as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's learning and you're waiting. And
Just
it's the biggest thing is that, when God is ready to take you there, like
yeah.
you're going. You're going nonstop. Like you're going, and it's like nothing and no one can take that away from you because it's ordained by Him. Like, or in that moment, it's ordained. And I kind of feel like, in this being as a woman that's on their way up, it's like understanding that my timing is my timing. Like I'm putting in the work right now. Like I'm putting in the footwork to get there. And when God is ready to keep, elevating me, I'm gonna get there regardless. And I would say though, what would you tell someone that's like tired of waiting? That's like tired of being patient. Like I can't do this no more. Like I'm ready to go now, or I'm gonna figure it out on my own.
maybe it is the time to figure out what you need to work on. Like what is
Hmm.
an area that you do need to push yourself further in your waiting period? What
Yeah.
is the trainings that you're supposed to be focused on? What are you like? There's always something to learn. So there's something that you need to push forward in your waiting period. And
Yeah.
that sometimes that looks like work. It may not look like progression, but it will look like work.
Yeah.
So that's really what I've been sitting and just waiting. Like in
Yeah.
the waiting period, you still have to do the work as well. It's not
Yeah.
just take a
Just
nap.
not just sit there and be on your phone and like you said, sleep it away. No, you have to. And I think that's the thing too, is just like when we're waiting, like you said, we feel like we're not supposed to work. But that's the point. Like the point is for you to, like you said, figure out, okay, God, what areas am I lacking? Okay, cool. So if I need to focus on reading my Bible more, all right, bet. If I need to work on making those connections like that are at my job, or people that you have sent for me to talk to, okay, cool. And I always say that, like God's gonna meet you halfway, right? Like you have to meet your blessings halfway. So you can't say, God, I want X, Y, and Z, and you just sitting on the couch just clipping your toenails, just waiting for the blessing to come. Because then it's never gonna come. Like you're literally just gonna be sitting there waiting and waiting. And you like, well, dang God, like, what's going on? Because I'm waiting for you to work.
Yeah. Maybe it's, oh, you need something like, I don't know, like personally, I lost my phone. So maybe in my waiting period, I can't get to my next period until I conquered. You need to get your phone back. Like you need to
Yeah.
figure what that is in that season. Like
Yeah.
what is that? And maybe it's something really small to get you to that next
To
level.
get to that next level, right? But you have to be aware enough to see that. You
Hmm.
have to be content and confident enough to see that. And then the thing is too, is not like you said earlier, it's not asking like why me, but it's like why not me?
Yeah.
why not me? So I just want to encourage you guys to, in your waiting period, do the work. Do the work in your waiting period. And trust me, it is something that all of us go through. And a lot of us are going through right now in this present moment. But you have to do the work. Like, you can't say you're serious about something or you want to go for something if you're just sitting at home waiting for the cows to sing. You waiting for the roosters.
Like,
You have to keep going because like slow and steady like wins the race, not fast, and it is okay to take your time as well. Like, stop being in a rush.
literally, it's
Stop
okay.
being in it's okay like to stop being in a rush to keep up with everyone. Stay in your lane and be the person that God has called you to be. Like, I think that is just, to me, that's one of the most beautiful things you can ever do, is stay in your lane and being who God has called you to be. So I know you mentioned that you're working in sports. So tell us about that journey and how do we get to where you are right now?
Talk about a waiting period.
Here we go, guys. Here we go. This is the story. Story.
So I was an athlete growing up. So my mom kept me in sports. It's just always been a place of serenity for me. And
Yeah.
so, given the opportunity at FAMU, I took it. Worked in the marketing department, and I just really fell in love with the game day experience and the student athlete like scholarship aspect. And from there, went to equipment, went to various internships. Like, that was all unpaid, all hard work,
Yeah.
all just waiting for that next period
The
to come.
opportunity. Yeah.
And so, like, a year post grad, Florida State had contacted me, and I finally got my first full time job in sports. But
Yes.
even though, like, I was a little heartbroken during the time because I was denied from school. I was trying to get my master's, and I didn't do the work that I needed to do in my undergrad,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
didn't flow into the next season. So
Yeah.
the work that clearly God did see for me was I was here and I was passionate about it. So
Yeah.
going to Florida State, something that resonated with me was Bobby Bowden. His saying is faith, family, football. He's like, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And so that was my motto to keep me going. That was a new motto that just kind of motivated me. And then after that, I kept saying, like, I want to be in professional sports. I want to be in professional sports, and got into the Rams internship. And so I am able to actually sit there and network and learn from all the various staff. Like, he's like, it's not your time yet, but learn. Take this time to absorb and see what the industry even looks like from that perspective.
Yes, yes.
Here I
And
am.
yeah, and when she say Ram, guys, she means Los Angeles Rams. Monty's in California.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to throw that out there. Okay, just want to throw that out there. But I like how you said though is that you took the path that God had for you.
Mhm.
Right? In your waiting period, you were okay. Well, God, what can I learn? Like, okay, you got me at FSU. What do I need to learn from FSU? Like, what do I need to get out of this experience that's going to take me to the next one? And I love that. And then the fact that you are in a position where they want you to learn and absorb and soak it up. I mean, that's a blessing. Like, a lot of internships are just that. Like, you go for that little time period. It's like, all right, thank you for coming. Holla at you, see, or well wishes, and we'll see you and what you do next.
Think
But
we see it.
yeah, but the fact that you have someone in your corner that's telling you, like, hey, absorb everything that you need to absorb. So when you're ready for the next thing or whatever comes next, like, you're ready for that. And if that's not ordained, then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's not ordained, I don't know what is, because you have to want to be in a place to where you can learn. And if you're in a place where they're not filling you with what you need, then 9 times out of 10, that's not the place for you. Or if you're not getting anything out of it, 9 times out of 10, that's not the place for
Right.
you, right? And I can just only imagine like how that's been like just being there and like soaking it up and just really like wow, like taking it all in. Cause I know me, I'm like, oh my God, Lord, like, you know, I would be like,
Definitely.
yeah, I'd be like, oh my God, like all of this. Like, look, I get to learn all of this. Okay, great. No, but I love that. And Amani, I would say if you could leave the listeners and the viewers with anything from today's episode, what would you leave them with?
Um, believe in those multifaceted ideas. Like, believe that you can do it. Um, and just keep going. Like, that's literally been my motto with businesses, with professionally. Like, I just really tell people we just got to keep going,
Yeah.
and anything that comes along the way, we'll get it fixed. Will No problem is too big that you can't solve, and keep
Yes.
going. Like, that's customer service has taken me a very long way. Positivity has literally taken me a very long way. So,
Yes. I mean, because you're just being optimistic about what's next. It's not about what's not happening right now, but it's like what's happening. Like what can I learn from what I'm doing now? And I feel like that's amazing because I think we're always so focused on tomorrow, next week, next year, but it's like you're sitting in an God given opportunity right now, or an ordained opportunity right now. And so you should definitely embrace that. Oh, I love that so much.
and still focus. Like, you still write those goals down. You still
Yes.
5-year, 10-year plans, but
Yes.
what are we learning right now to get there? Like,
To get to that, to get to the year, to the 5 year, to the 10 year, 100%. I totally agree with that. And I would say, Omani, if people wanted to find you, maybe hear more about your experience, or maybe they want to get their foot in the door with sports or anything like that, or planning a gala or anything professional, how can they get into contact with you?
Instagram is that's one of the main ways is ATP baby, BAYBEE. And I really utilize LinkedIn. Like, LinkedIn, they say it's not your Facebook, but if you are professional enough, that will be your Facebook.
Love No, I love that because LinkedIn, baby, LinkedIn help you. LinkedIn help you get
You
in the
know, people
door.
are in there all day. Like, people are sitting there reading articles, and then if your
Yes.
name comes up enough, you're part of that network. Like,
Yes, and that is amazing. That is amazing. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation with Amani. I did. I'm just like in awe of just knowing that we literally connected like a couple months ago, and now we're here doing a podcast episode, y'all. The power of networking and connections. Like, you just never know, like, what happens, right? When you enter into a room and you use the room to help you and help other people, just blossom into who God has called them to be. So, Amani, again, thank you so much for being willing and wanting to be on the podcast. Like,
thank you
y'all
for
just have no idea. Yes, like
that.
y'all just have no idea. Cause and it's crazy because like when you ask people, you're like, well, the worst thing that they can say is no, but we just hope that they say yes.
Don't keep credit for that. Yes. So, like,
We just hope that they say yes. We just hope that they say yes. And Amani said yes. So y'all, I'm just so excited for you guys to hear this episode, to view this episode, however you listen to the You're Not Done Yet podcast. So make sure you're following us on Instagram at You're Not Done Yet Pod, and me, your host, at It's Andrea B on Instagram. And again, this has been an amazing episode, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.